George's Story Time. Hello, everybody. I'm George Buxton. Guess what? It's time for a tale. Now, and we're on to another Quentin Blake classic that we've had from last week. Well, this time, this story is called Mrs. Armitage and the Big Wave. Now, when you hear this sound, cowabunga! That means that Mrs. Armitage will be taking the waves as she rides through a big wave with a dog. Now, are you ready? Here we go. Mrs. Armitage and the Big Wave. Mrs. Armitage was on her way to the beach. She was wearing her surfing kit and she carried her surfboard under her arm. Breakspear, the dog, ran alongside. When they got to the beach, they walked across the sand and into the water. What we have to do, Breakspear, said Mrs. Armitage, is to swim out to sea and wait for a big wave. But while they were waiting for the big wave, Mrs. Armitage could see that Breakspear's little legs were getting tired. What we need here, said Mrs. Armitage, is something to keep a faithful dog afloat. So she swam back to the beach and bought an inflatable desert island. When she got back, Breakspear climbed onto the desert island and they went on waiting for the big wave. But it was a hot day and soon Mrs. Armitage was sweating and Breakspear's tongue was hanging out. What we need here, said Mrs. Armitage, is something to protect us from the sun's powerful rays. So she swam off and came back with a cap and with a yellow plastic brim for herself and an umbrella with pink spots for Breakspear, and they went on waiting for the big wave. Now they were nice and cool, but they soon began to feel rather hungry, as you do at the seaside. What we need here, said Mrs. Armitage, is a selection of light snacks to keep us going. So she swam off and got a plastic duck and an empty box and tied them together with string and filled the box with tasty items. When she got back, Mrs. Armitage ate an avocado burger and Breakspear had some crunchy dog biscuits. And they went on waiting for the big wave. Viewers, but before we continue, here's one important rule. Before you get into the pool, always let your food go down. But don't get into the pool though, because if it starts to grumble, that means you'll end up drowning. And then you'll have to get one of the lifeguards to rescue you. So please, eat your food first, then wait for it to go down, and then go swimming. So that's how it works. Anyway, back to the story. After a while, a breeze sprang up and blew briskly along the shore. This is delightful, said Mrs. Armitage, but what we need here is something to show us wind force and direction. And she swam off and came back with the wind stocking and a line of bunting, and she fixed them so that they blew in the breeze, and Mrs. Armitage and Breakspear went on waiting for the big wave. A windsurfer passed them at high speed. Hi there, gorgeous! He shouted. What we need here, said Mrs. Armitage, is something we can hail fellow sportsmen with. And she swam off and came back with a red megaphone. She bought a motor horn as well, because it's always a good thing to have a motor horn. Then she gave a few shouts and hoots, and they went on waiting for the big waves. By now, all kinds of fish were popping their heads out of the water to find out what fuzz was about. Oh, I hope there aren't any sharks, said Mrs. Armitage, and she swam off and came back with a sturdy boat hook. Now, we can give a prod to any sharks that want to trouble us, said Mrs. Armitage, and they went on waiting for the big wave. And then the big wave came. At the same moment, they noticed a little girl called Miranda, who had swum out too far and was in difficulties. Ow, ow, I'm drowning! Ow, the big wave's coming! Went Mrs. Armitage on the motor horn. She hooked up Miranda with a boat hook and on they went. They did a California slipper, a bally swerve, a waikiki flip, and arrived on the beach just in front of Miranda's parents. Miranda! Miranda! Oh, thank you, Mrs. Armitage. You're welcome. They all went to the beach cafe to celebrate. There's still time, Breakspear, for us to have another go, said Mrs. Armitage. But what we really need is all of the things. Woohoo! Cowabunga! And we hope you enjoyed this Quentin Blake classic of Mrs. Armitage and the Big Wave. And that's pretty much about it for now. And hopefully we should get some more books very soon. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Oh, and thank you for listening to the lesson.